LARPing. It's a term that's recently gone viral. It stems from the acronym LARP, meaning live action role playing. Its definition is an interactive activity where participants portray characters in a fictional setting, often involving costumes, props, and simulated combat. But that's not the LARPing we know today. There's no sci-fi, historical games, or anything like that. LARPing is the new name given to the action of someone faking a personality or lifestyle, or putting on an act for financial gain and recognition. We're going to dissect all of these actions and more in the video today. This is the Psychology of Larping. In order to understand LARPing, we have to know its origin. The term LARP became popular in the early 1980s. It was first used in fantasy-like battle groups. Over the years, LARPing has primarily stayed in the role-playing and gaming community, along with expanding to theater. These first forms of LARPing are pretty foreign to the LARPing we know today, but if you pick it apart, the idea is still the same. It wasn't until early 2026 that the term went mainstream and found a whole new meaning. There's been a new trend of influencers renting expensive cars, suits, and putting on a fake lifestyle. And most of the time, it's all in an attempt to sell some sort of course. LARPers are essentially internet gurus. You've definitely seen them. They're the guys that present themselves as bearers of all sorts of information and schemes. It's a whole business within itself. Think about it. They could rent a Urus for a day, and it'll cost them about $1,000. But then they make hundreds of clips in that Urus for exponential profit, where a guy in a Lamborghini is yapping about how great his life is, and telling you to buy his course if you want to be like him. The thing is, in most of these clips, the car is rented or not theirs. Maybe they're in a hotel or a penthouse of some sort. They likely don't own that or spent all their money paying for it, for the sole purpose of showing it off in videos. And their courses are complete scams. However, these influencers are all doing the same thing, because it works. It isn't because their tips are valuable, it's because their videos are engineered to manipulate the way people think. Taking what you see at face value leads one to think, well, of course this guy is rich. He has a fancy car and a nice suit. And oh, he's teaching me how to get rich like him. Of course I'm gonna try that. When someone films themselves next to a sports car, inside a luxury apartment, or walking through an airport with dramatic music behind them, your brain automatically assumes they must know something that you don't, because they have the things that you don't. Even if the car is rented, even if the apartment is staged, the visual shortcut still works. LARPers will go to crazy extents to back their fake lives. They use this thing called social proof stacking. It could be screenshots of payments, fake testimonials, even botted comments under the videos saying things like, "This changed my life." When people see others are apparently succeeding, they assume the system will work. But those signals are easy to manufacture and are extremely difficult to verify. They pressure you to buy quickly by telling you their course is selling out, which also creates more credibility because that's another sign that people are buying their course. Behind the paywall to these courses is a low-quality, empty plan that will get the buyer nowhere in life. Their paid courses usually consist of more expenses and time that wasn't mentioned previously. These influencers aren't withholding some secret get-rich-quick scheme behind a paywall. If they were, then wouldn't they be putting all their energy into that money-making method? And they definitely wouldn't be sharing their scheme with random people, because the more people making money in a specific way, the harder it is to continue making money efficiently. And this just proves that at the end of the day, there's no morally sound get-rich-quick scheme. Their secret scheme is exactly the one you're falling for. And they won't tell you that, because at the end of the day, the buyer and seller are the same. Just one is faking a high-end life and advertising it for revenue, and the other is falling for it. These tactics that influencers use proves that LARPing has crossed the line from morally questionable to ethically wrong. Hundreds of YouTubers and influencers and TikTokers have caught onto a new wave, flashing a lavish lifestyle, and then promoting their course or selling some form of content under a paywall. And young men are the ones that fall for it all the time. Maybe some influencers won't sell a fake course, and they just show off. Sure, it's not as bad, but they're still flexing expensive items to get recognition. What is really going through the minds of these influencers? The suits, lighting, and even the confidence of the LARPer all contribute to the process of them tricking your brain. You see, your brain connects wealth with credibility, which is extremely dangerous. But thankfully, many people have taught themselves to catch these LARPers and not entertain their videos further. They'll do this by connecting the recognizable look and demeanor of these LARPers with the thought of a scammer. This connection usually developed because they consumed some sort of information that told them what LARPers were doing was wrong, like this video. Maybe they just clicked on the influencer's course to see what the fuss was about and saw that it's obviously a scam. And now whenever you see a LARPing account, no matter how convincing it is, you won't trust it. You've broken your psychological connections between authority, formality, and credibility in that sense. After taking a closer look into these LARPing videos, it's clear that these influencer schemes are targeted towards young men. The image they are creating in these clips is exactly what the youth of Gen Z dream of. Fancy cars, clothes, and above all, a supportive following that drools at your success. True wealth doesn't mean showing off. Most billionaires don't find the need to show off expensive or high-quality brands. And if you want to know more about that, I'm planning on making an analysis on the mindset of a billionaire soon. I'm planning on studying billionaires' demeanors and actions in order to make a strong video about the billionaire mindset soon. What I've discussed in this video is the obvious description for what a LARPer is and LARPing as we know it, but there's a scale to it all. If LARPing is essentially the act of pretending you're something you're not, is being a bandwagon fan LARPing? Whether you want to deny it or not, we all have said we're a fan of something we knew little about. Maybe it was to look cool or seem more credible. Whether you like it or not, you may have LARPed. Tons of celebrities do this all the time as well. They're a prime example of LARPers. I'm not calling out any names, but there are some obvious trends going on. LARPing isn't exactly being performative though. That's a whole other can of worms that we don't need to get into in this video. People have this everlasting want for recognition and status. Think of the first time a human started a fire. Once the flames erupted, he was probably frightened and fascinated. But then what does he do? He immediately gets his peers to come see what he has created. And nowadays we reflect. People buy fancy cars, expensive brands, and even appliances and electronics just for the logo. You could say the logo provides a placebo-like sense of security, but under all the excuses, it's another way to show off to others that you're the real deal. It's in human nature to crave recognition, credit, and status. Just think of what these celebrities are LARPing for. They want to paint a picture of themselves that doesn't exist. They're trying to make their fans believe they're a person that they truly aren't. Whether that be for more recognition, press, praise, or just for the fun of it. As for influencers, no. They don't inheritably want to scam people, but it's an easy and effective way to make loads of money. They're willing to take money from unsuspecting consumers, and what they will buy with the money they make from LARPing is exactly what I've been talking about. More status, more high-end recognizable brands, and at the end of the day, more LARPing. Now I'm not saying you need to only buy clothes from Target and PacSun to be true to yourself. But let's say that if you stumbled upon $1 million, what would you buy? Think about it. Most people aren't so different from the LARPers. Aside from the fact that LARPers will bring others down for further financial gain. And at the end of the day, it is posing as something you're not. But the truth is, we all have LARPed at some point in our lives. Whether it be telling someone you own something you actually don't, or saying that your watch costs more than it actually did. You could say, Forte. That doesn't bring anyone down though. And to that, I say, are you sure? Because that action of bragging, you're tempting the person you're telling these things to, tempting them to feel jealousy and envy. LARPing can really be simplified to fit the most common situations. After all, there is a scale to it. LARPing has evolved from a simple act of escaping reality to a never-ending cycle of fraud and influence on the internet that spreads like a virus. It takes us as a population to understand the danger and unlawfulness of these influencers and to go against it. The Psychology of Larping.